As far as like the water in the toilets, I didn't realize there was that much of a difference. Yes, we do have gaps in our stalls. Um, I'm not sure why. It's been that way my entire life. I don't think people really question it. Hey, what is going on? Thanks for stopping back by the channel. So, we're going to be checking out 16 surprises between the UK and America. But before we jump into this video, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, share, and above all, do your best to make it to the end of the video. And if you make it there, let me know in the comments that you made it. That would be amazing, and I want to thank you personally. But without further ado, 16 surprising differences between the UK and America.
Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I am going to be sharing with you 16 surprising differences between Britain and America. To begin, the restaurant experience is extremely different. Generally, you will get a much bigger portion in America than in the UK. In US restaurants, you are required pretty much to give a 20% tip. Some restaurants already add this tip onto the receipt at the end, and then there are some that do just let you give whatever tip you want. From my experience, some servers do try and persuade you to buy more food or buy like the more expensive option. The tip that they get is going to be higher because it's 20% of the whole order. This is not in all cases, but it's happened to me a good few times. As well as a tip, tax is also put on.
Okay, let's talk about the tip for a minute. Yes, we do tip, but there's a reason. See, our servers, waitresses, they don't get paid a minimum wage. Actually, their hourly wage is less than the minimum wage in the country. Why is that? Well, it's because the restaurant owners want to keep the food costs down so they don't pay their employees what they should. Therefore, we pay a tip to help offset the lost wages that the servers are getting. That's why they say, you know, their hospitality is always a little bit better because they're trying to make sure that you give that tip. That's why they upsell, right? Where they ask you if you want a dessert or would you like another this or you want some of that, so that they can try to offset that lost wage
On the bill at the end. And lastly, something that's different with the restaurant experience, your waiter will take your card away from you and they will walk off with it because they have to like swipe the card in the card reader. For a British person, that's quite different.
Some restaurants are now starting to use the table side card scanners, but you know, for a long time we didn't have that, and it's kind of not a thing. If you go out to a bar, for example, and you want to open a tab, you just leave them your card and they keep it behind the bar. When you're done at the end of the night and you close your tab, they just swipe it and then give it back to you. So it's kind of just the norm here. We don't even think about it.
UK, the waitress will just come over with like a portable card machine and you just pop it in like at the table. I found in America, everything is just generally a lot bigger. Like cars, you see that car? It's big, isn't it? Houses are much bigger, buildings are much bigger, roads are much bigger, everything is really spread out. I feel like when I go back to the UK, I'm gonna feel like everything is just tiny. The fall in America is a lot more like spoken about and it's quite a big thing. In the UK, you don't really know that fall's happening in a way, like no one talks about it, it's just autumn. Halloween is huge here and also Thanksgiving.
Yeah, definitely. We love our holidays. And as far as like the cars being bigger, the roads are bigger. I've never been to Britain. I've never been to the UK, but I do watch videos and reactors that are from there. And they all say your roads are much more narrow and that our vehicles here in the United States probably wouldn't even fit down the road. If that true, let me know in the comments. But as far as the fall goes, yeah, Halloween, Thanksgiving, you have football, you have, well, American football. All of that goes on in the fall. So, yeah, that's probably next to summer, probably one of the best seasons of the year here.
Americans know how to celebrate. Guys, the coffee is so different here. In the UK, when you go to a coffee shop, it is lattes, espresso, cappuccinos, flat whites, all of that. That's it pretty much. When you're at home, it's just instant coffee, so it's the coffee granules and then you put hot water in it and then just milk. We have no creamers like you guys have, which I absolutely love. I feel like it's just an incredible thing. In the US, a lot of places have coffee in this like cylinder. It's like already made coffee and then you add your creamer to it, so it's like not made from a coffee machine or anything like that.
Yeah, coffee is huge here. And coffee creamer. She just said you guys don't have that in the UK or in Britain. We have so many different coffee creamers. It's ridiculous. It's actually way too much choice. And if you like a certain flavor, you'll get it. And unless it's one of those funky flavors that only comes out during the holidays, like pumpkin spice or something to that effect, then you have to wait for like the fall or for winter if you want the peppermint. But yeah, coffee creamer. It's basically flavored cream and you put it into your coffee. Most people have it, you know. Some of us don't like it, but some people, they love it.
Most states you can't buy alcohol in the supermarkets. Also tablets and medicine. This is not all states, it's just that certain states have like a law where you can't do it. They don't have like the license. Also some restaurants here, you can't buy alcohol, you have to like bring your own.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about that for a minute. Living in the United States, you got to remember that the 50 states all have their own laws. They have their own rules. Yes, we do have, the federal laws that govern us all. But as far as like alcohol sales, I live in a state where I can buy alcohol anywhere. At a gas station, at a restaurant, at a grocery store, at a convenience store. Makes no difference. I can buy alcohol. Now, if I were to go south, let's say to North Carolina, you can't. You can buy like wine and beer, but if you wanted a hard liquor, you have to go to an ABC store, which is governed by the state, and that's the only place that you can buy your whiskeys and your bourbons and those kind of things. Fun fact, Jack Daniel's whiskey is made in Kentucky, in a dry county. What does that mean? Oh, that means that there's no alcohol in that county. It's illegal to have wine, beer, whiskeys in that county, but yet that's the county where Jack Daniel's is made. Make that make sense.
The healthcare is very different. In the US, it's all private. You have to pay for any treatments that you get or any doctor's appointments or anything of that sort. Whereas in the UK, we have the National Health Service, which means that our doctor's appointments and our treatment is free. There's pros and cons to both of these.
Yeah, so our medical system, we all have our own health insurance. Now, depending on the type of insurance you get, changes what you can and can't do. But no, it's on us to schedule our own like doctor's appointments or to get procedures done. The state doesn't govern that. The government doesn't govern that. They don't send me a letter that says, hey, you have to go have a physical on this day. That's on me. So that is a huge difference.
Usually you'll get seen a lot quicker in the US, whereas in the UK, recently there's been like quite a few problems because it's just absolutely packed. Overall, the cost of living in America definitely is more expensive than in the UK. The pound to the dollar is pretty similar. The salaries are higher in the US, but everything seems more expensive here. I found like grocery store prices of food is a lot. Restaurant prices are more. Obviously you've got to pay for your healthcare. The trains in the UK are a lot faster. For a much bigger distance, you can get to places so much quicker than you can in the US.
You know, I don't know of too many Americans that ride the train. I mean, they used to, but that was like years and years and years and years ago. Not so much anymore. We all have our own vehicles. We all travel. And so, yeah, public transportation, you know, when I was growing up, I used to see like city buses everywhere. Now I see them, but it's very rare. It's not like it used to be. Yeah, so we don't rely on public transportation or trains or anything other than maybe like airplanes. But that's about it.
I feel like it's because the country is just so big. 1.5 hour drive takes an hour and a half train here in America, whereas a 4 hour drive in the UK only takes 1 hour 20 on the train. The public toilets, and just toilets in general, are so different. In the toilet, it's full of water here in the US. In the UK, like, there's hardly any water in it. Two, toilet is a lot lower down in the US. Very strange. It's weird how toilet can be so different in two countries. The flush sound is different also.
What?
Cubicles have gaps in between. People can see you sit on the toilet, and there's big gaps at the bottom of the doors in the toilets, whereas in the UK, the doors go all the way to the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, so I hear that a lot. As far as like the water in the toilets, I didn't realize there was that much of a difference. Yes, we do have gaps in our stalls. Um, I'm not sure why. It's been that way my entire life. I don't think people really question it. Um, I do know that it becomes a pain because, stupid kids will go in and they'll lock the stall door and then they'll crawl out under because there's quite a big gap. They'll crawl out under the stall and take off. So then if you go in, every door's locked and it's just a real hassle. But, you know, it's just a thing, I guess.
Sometimes I don't feel that safe when I'm on a toilet. In the US, you don't have English breakfast cup of tea. Like, it's not a common thing. In the UK, it's very common for someone to have maybe 3-4 cups of teas a day, which means that most families don't have a kettle, like, in their house.
Right. We don't have kettles. I don't know many people that drink tea unless they're sick, right? You maybe have a hot toddy where you make your tea, put a little lemon and some whiskey in it and some honey, right? That's about the extent of tea drinking around here, unless you're talking iced tea, sweet iced tea or regular iced tea. But as far as hot teas go, no, we are more of a coffee society. That's what we do. That's what we drink. Coffee all day, every day. A lot of us will drink 3-4 cups of coffee and not even blink an eye.
And also hotels in the US, there's no kettle, whereas hotels in the UK, you'll definitely find a kettle. There's a lot of drive-thrus here in America, a lot more than in the UK. And do you know what I find so cool? They have drive-through banks.
See, I've heard that before. You guys don't have many drive-thrus. Let me know in the comments, what kind of drive-thrus do you have? I'm assuming you have drive-thrus at like fast food restaurants, right? Where like McDonald's or something to that effect. I'm assuming that's where your drive-thrus are. We have drive-thrus everywhere. We have drive-through pharmacies. We have drive-through banks. We have drive-through liquor stores where you pull in and it looks like a garage and the guy comes out and takes your order and then runs around the garage and brings everything to you. So yeah, we like that convenience of just staying in the car, pulling up, doing our business, and driving away.
How cool is that? A car can just pull up to the drive-thru and do your bank business like
Right.
through a window. Pretty much every UK house has a back garden, whereas here in the US, I haven't seen, at least where I live, many houses with grass back gardens. Most of them will have like a front allotment, I think it's called. That is very different. Most families do have like a good sized back garden for kids and dogs to like run around. In the fast food restaurants, there is in the UK.
Now, I'm not sure where she is, but where I live, we all have big backyards with the grass and the trees. Yeah. Now, our backyards aren't fenced in. Most yards aren't fenced in around here. Which I understand yours is always all fenced in into your own little area. But I'm not sure where she is, where she's saying people really don't have a backyard. I don't know.
There is so much more variety of foods, especially the side dishes. Like you can get mac and cheese, potatoes, mash, all sorts of things, as well as fries. Whereas in the UK, pretty much like just fries as your side, and they usually have so many burger options if it...
Now wait a minute. Don't you guys have KFC? Because, like, our KFC, right? We can get sides of, like, sweet corn, coleslaw, biscuits, cornbread muffins, uh, green beans, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy. Those are all options at KFC. Don't you have that? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking, because she said, it's basics like fries. So I'm just curious. Let me know in the comments. Does your KFC have all those things? Green beans, corn, coleslaw, all of that. Let me know. I'm interested.
It was a burger place. Also, there are so many more restaurant chains in America than there are in the UK. A lot more. Date is a different way round in America. In the UK, it's the date, then the month, then the year. Whereas in America, it's the month, date, then year. Which I've kind of found hard to get my head around, to be honest. When I'm filling out a form, I always do it wrong. And then it's showing that I was born in the 17th month. It's not a thing. In the UK, we have...
Okay, so yeah, we do that. But why do we do that? Well, because every month has the same amount of days, right? So let's say I'm talking about a birthday. I was born in January, right? So my birthday is in the month of January on this date of this year. That's kind of why we break it down that way.
Letterboxes in our doors, and that is where our mail is delivered. Whereas here in the US, you have mailboxes, which I personally really like. And my last surprising fact is that the UK is actually 2.8 times smaller than the state Texas, which just shows how big America really is.
All right, that was a great video. I really enjoyed that. There are a lot of differences. Now, every time I do a video that talks about the United Kingdom or Britain, I'm always told in the comments that this video was this video was that, this video was so untrue, and then everybody gets all like, arrogant American, yada yada. This came from someone who lived in Britain, so I'm assuming that this information is valid. But if it isn't, please let me know in the comments. I really do want to know. And answer those questions for me. What kind of sides does your KFC have? I'm curious. But hey, thanks for watching. I am Kix, and I'll see you next time.